Duke and North Carolina. Is this it for Coach K? Is this his final game? North Carolina certainly hope so. This too hovering around that 4 number there, although the total has creeped up a little bit from the open, 150, 151, somewhere in that ballpark, Trig. So, what is it? Does North Carolina, they've already done it. They've already beaten them. Can they do it again 2 times in a row?
No, I don't think North Carolina can. And very similar to the last matchup, I like Duke here. And I'll have to figure out within the next day or so if I can stomach laying the 4 points in this game, because I do think Duke wins. I think Duke has an advantage at essentially every position on the floor. And one of the things that has really impressed me with Duke, since I would say down the stretch in that Michigan State game, is they just have shot makers and individual talent that seems to exceed anything else I've seen left in this tournament. I'll just put something into perspective. If Texas Tech or Arkansas were playing this weekend against any of the other 3 teams, I'd probably be backing them. So in my opinion, Duke's last weekend was harder than anyone's to get to this point, having to beat Texas Tech and Arkansas, 2 teams I was really high on going into last weekend. I don't think, North Carolina obviously blew them out. Everyone knows this at this point. They ruined the Coach K finale, got the win. But if anything, I would look to Duke to have a little of revenge there. And I go back to that game, and Duke just laid an egg. I mean, they got out-rebounded, which I don't think you're going to see here. In my opinion, it would take a perfect game for North Carolina to beat Duke in this game, in this spot. I think Duke has advantages at basically every position. So if you shut one guy down, they've got other guys that can step up. I just think there's a big gulf in between these 2 teams, a big gap. And I think it's being minimized by the media sort of hyping this up like it's the game of the century. Duke and North Carolina in the Final Four. I think the line is short. So I'm definitely looking towards Duke. And if I get to the window with one of these against the spread, it will probably be Duke -4 against North Carolina.
All right, good stuff there. What do you think, Mejia? Duke, Coach K, they send him off. Can he get to the final, or does North Carolina make this the most difficult thing of the year?
I mean, certainly Coach K could lose this game. It's going to be up to how Jeremy Roach plays at the guard position. Respectfully, I disagree with Trig in terms of Jeremy Roach at the point against either R.J. Davis or Caleb Love. I don't think that's a mismatch. In fact, that's an advantage for North Carolina. Roach has been an enigma also, throughout his career, and for that matter, so has Davis and Love. But they have figured some things out over the course of the season, and that's why UNC got off to such a slow start. Now they're playing R.J. Davis as more of the point, and Caleb Love off the ball, and Love obviously got hot at the right time to beat UCLA. That's really been the one of the more dangerous spots that Carolina has found themselves in this tournament, and they beat Baylor in overtime. So I mean, this is a team that's really stepped up. Confidence-wise, I think they're there. Nobody's have to take caught in the pain in the ACC tournament, and how they're able to defend him inside and keep him from giving North Carolina second chances is going to be key to Duke. Now, we haven't seen Duke's best game, even though they beat North Carolina in Chapel Hill in February. We haven't seen Duke's best game against North Carolina. Paolo Banchero has 1 free throw made in 3 attempts in both games against North Carolina. So if he's able to ISO and get into the paint and get some of these guys in foul trouble, because that is where Duke has an advantage in quality depth. Neither team going to go too deep into their bench, but as far as who Coach K can turn to, it's far superior to what Hubert Davis is able to do. There's also an advantage for Duke in trying to get Brady Manick involved defensively, because he's a liability on that end. As far as the biggest one, where people will probably seek out that matchup to try to get things going. I like AJ Griffin a ton and Wendell Moore. I mean, Duke has winners, and certainly Duke is the rightful favorite in this game, but North Carolina can definitely win. It's going to depend on R.J. Davis and Caleb Love getting the better of Jeremy Roach and Griffin. Ironically, Griffin and Davis were high school teammates. So these guys know each other extremely well. How North Carolina and Duke are at Tobacco Road, both fan bases are as up on the other one team as they are on their own, because it's such a rivalry. And I do think that the officiating factor of this game is overvalued. I don't think Coach K is going to get the benefit of the calls over Hubert Davis, and certainly that's bared out over the first two matchups. So we'll see. I think also both teams will have to get acclimated shooting the ball, in the early stages of this. So a little leery of a total in the 150s.
What do you think here, Finn? Is it you think there's going to be a lot of points in this thing? You think they know each other too well? It's got to stay under? Where do you think it goes?
Well, I think if Hubert Davis has his way, that will be a lot of points in the game, and those points will be on the scoreboard under the name of North Carolina, right? I mean, this is a team that put up numbers. They put up points in the 90s. This is a team that definitely they're going to push the pace against Duke, and they have to play defense. There's a couple bags of magic dust, the thing you like to fairy dust you like to sprinkle around, Joe, and it's going to take a perfect game from North Carolina. What they did that final day at Cameron was amazing. When Carolina decided to play defense, guys, they held the foe to 1.05 points per possession. It's really a key number. It's really almost a magic number in this game for Carolina. Anything below 1.1 in college gives an opponent, it gives an underdog a shot, in my opinion. And Duke's 6 losses this season, they fell below that 1.1 5 of 6 times. Is North Carolina capable of defending 5 NBAers at this point, at this level, on this day, against not only the legend of Coach K and the legend of Duke and really an amazing first appearance in a tournament between these two teams after how many years, guys? And more than anything, the bias that's going to be in the media, the crowd, and possibly the referees. Tough game for North Carolina here. And if you're going to be anywhere in this game, you're either going to be in a dream state and thinking North Carolina is going to duplicate what they did in Cameron, or you're probably going to be with most people, and I mean most people I talk to, and that's laying the number with Duke here.
Duke it is. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Two great a lot of blue bloods in this crew here, but should be an interesting Final Four.